Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be another movie review for you guys. And this movie I'm going to be reviewing, I did not think I was going to be able to see it as soon as I did. This movie was one I was definitely really looking forward to. It was one of the most anticipated movies of the year, especially from reviews I've heard of it. And it's a movie that, a lot of people have, praised it, said that it's one of the best movies of the year and everything. And that movie is Nightcrawler. I have finally seen Nightcrawler. And I am so happy I saw this movie. This movie was on Solar Movie. I'm gonna admit I did watch this on Solar Movie. It got leaked onto Solar Movie on Tuesday, but I said to myself I'm gonna watch it and during the weekend. And I finally finished Nightcrawler. And overall, what did I think of Nightcrawler? Nightcrawler is an absolute masterpiece. I love this movie. By far one of the best movies of the year. And just, I loved it. So, let's talk about what Nightcrawler is basically about. Basically, the plot of Nightcrawler is kind of complex and difficult to explain, but the basic gist of the story is it's about this guy named Lou Bloom, who he basically ends up getting caught stealing a security guard's watch, and he goes to get a job, from this guy, but the manager tells him he's not going to employ a thief and everything because, he just stole a watch and everything. So he comes across Bill, he drives around one night and he comes across Bill Paxton's character, who is a professional Nightcrawler. If you don't know what a Nightcrawler is, basically a Nightcrawler are the people that film what's going on, sort of like car crashes and, bank robberies, like those sort of things that happen at night, those things you see on the news, on TV, those are what Nightcrawlers are. So Lou starts to become very interested in to become a better Nightcrawler himself, and he starts to become completely obsessed with it. He wants to get, like, the perfect shot, he wants to get a good story, and, he starts to kind of make it about himself, kind of make himself the, a professional Nightcrawler and everything, and that's what he basically wants to do, and, as time goes on, crazy and crazier things happen, and basically, that's the plot of Nightcrawler. Now, it does seem like a very complex plot, and it is a very complex plot, but that's one of the things that I love about this movie, is that this movie really is just about a guy trying to, make the story, make the news better, get the right, shots and everything. And one of the things that interested me about this movie is that this movie makes you very interested about the news. I mean, there are a lot of, like, famous newscasters in this movie, and I really like that, definitely, the way that they portrayed that, and I really like that, and that's one of the things that this movie did very well, in my opinion. But let's get to the acting in this movie. The acting in this movie is really what makes this movie great. First of all, Jake Gyllenhaal plays our main character, Lou Bloom, and of course, he already gave an amazing performance in Enemy, but this completely blows that performance out of the water, because this performance is an amazing performance, because he is completely unrecognizable in this role. You don't see Jake Gyllenhaal. You see a man who is slowly becoming a psychopath, and he really is. I mean, the more you watch this movie, the more you see that this guy really is a psychopath, and he plays that very well. I mean, you're really connected to his character. His character is very interesting, and I really definitely love that about his character. His character was so into the idea of finding the right shots in the movie. I mean, he went so far to just find the perfect shot and everything. He didn't care what happened to his crew, like, he didn't care what happened to them. As long as he got the right shot, that's what mattered to him. So, I thought that was really interesting about his character, definitely. And right away, you could see that he is a pretty fucked up character, especially something he does towards the end, which I'm going to talk about. Then you have Nina, Renee Russo, however you pronounce it, as Nina, and, she did a great job. She is basically this girl who is, she is basically the morning news director. She buys the footage and wants to help him continue his work, and I was surprised by how far, their relationship really went. I mean, he went as far as to have sex with her. Like, he basically said to her, I'm not gonna let you do this unless you have sex with me. Like, he went really far with that, and I thought that was really interesting, and how interested she was in the news was really cool as well, and I definitely really liked that about her character. I wouldn't say it's one of the best female performances of the year, but she definitely did a very good job, and I really liked her acting in it. Definitely really good stuff. Riz Ahmed as Rick. This guy's amazing. I mean, he basically is Lou's, assistant, sort of the guy he wants to help him, basically the guy that films the stuff while he tells him to film, and he did a really good job, definitely. I mean, his character is really important. He is probably the second best performance of this movie. I thought his character was amazing, and I definitely really loved that about his character. And then the last person we're going to talk about is Bill Paxton as Joe Lauder, and he, of course, is the Nightcrawler that Lou comes across, and I thought he was great, definitely. I really loved his character, and he was absolutely fantastic. So, let's get to the directing for Nightcrawler. The director of this movie is Dan Gilroy. This is actually his directorial debut. This is the very first movie he ever directed. And for a directorial debut, really impressive, definitely. I mean, this could have been not a very good directorial debut. Really, really impressive, definitely. He did a very good job for his directorial debut, and I was surprised that this was his directorial debut. I mean, I'm looking at it, it says directorial debut, and I was completely shocked because, I was completely shocked because if you would have told me that this was the director's directorial debut, I would have been very surprised by that because this movie feels like this guy knows what he's doing. Definitely, he knows what kind of movie he wanted to make. He knows he wanted to make a crime thriller. He knows that, and I thought he did a very good job doing that, and he definitely, was a very good director. The screenplay for this movie, by far one of the best screenplays of the year. The screenplay is so interesting, and the way the movie just, makes you so more interested in the news, it makes you so more interested in how you get, that stuff gets shot and things like that. I mean, this movie makes you interested in the news. If you guys don't like the news, you will be interested in the news in this movie, and I definitely really like the way they did that. Amazing stuff, and I definitely really, really love that. The cinematography, amazing cinematography, this movie. Like, this looks like, there are a lot of scenes, most of the scenes take place in the dark, but the stuff when you see, like, on the news, this looks like this was stuff that actually was reported on the news, and I thought that was very well done, the cinematography. I really enjoyed that. Not the best cinematography of the year. Best cinematography of the year is still Interstellar, but this was still very good cinematography. The editing was very good as well. I didn't think this movie needed to be any shorter or longer than it was. The editing was perfect, and I definitely really loved about the editing. Great editing there. And then the last thing I'll talk about is the score. The score is very eerie and very creepy, and I definitely really liked that about the movie. And I thought the score was very well done, in my opinion. But let's get to the spoilers for Nightcrawler. If you guys have not seen Nightcrawler, do not watch the rest of this review. I'm going to spoil some of the best parts about this movie, which are in the, in the spoilers. I am going to spoil some of the best parts of this movie. So go see Nightcrawler. Please see it. I know you can't see it in theaters, but if you guys can see it on Solar Movie, definitely watch it there. My only complaint is a quick thing with Solar Movie. If you guys do watch this movie, just know that the quality is not very good. Like, there were a lot of times in this movie where the quality was just okay. And I know I'm, you guys are probably like, who cares? But, like, still, the quality was just okay, to the point where some of the scenes was kind of hard to understand what's going, kind of hard to hear them. So if you guys do want to see it on Solar Movie, I recommend you check it out, but it's the sound's kind of inaudible at points, but I still was able to tell what's going on in this movie. But let's get to the spoilers. So, of course, one of the things I definitely want to talk about is the ending. The ending I love because one of the things I love about the ending is, of course, the climax. Is that there is no music in that entire car chase, and I love that definitely of when that's going on, especially when the police arrive at the restaurant. That got really crazy there, and I was very surprised by how intense it was when you don't have music. When you don't have music, it makes the movie so much more realistic, and the movie was already very realistic because of that. I definitely really enjoyed the way they did that. And, when Lou urged Rick to film the suspect and everything, I knew something bad was going to happen. I knew this was not going to end well. And then, of course, Rick ended up dying. He ends up dead. And then we get to the most fucked up part of the movie, which is when Rick, shoots him, wants to, like, shoot him, basically films him while he's dead. And I was like, okay, this guy is definitely a psychopath. Like, that part confirms that he is a psychopath. There are things in the movie before that maybe he's not, but that confirms that he is a psychopath. That just confirms it. And I really like the way the movie just slowly reveals things. Also, this movie is very subtle. Another thing I want to explain about this movie, some people have said that this movie does not have a lot of character development, like, in terms of, like, a lot of character development. Now, I'm going to say this. The movie has character development, but doesn't throw it in your face. Not like, oh, here's character development, we're going to develop this character. No, this movie doesn't do that. This movie gives you time to sort of process what you think is going on with this character, and I definitely really like the way they portrayed that about, Lou Bloom. Lou Bloom is a very complex character, definitely, in the sense that there are many times when you think that he's, kind of like, he's basically trying to make people think he's a good person, when in reality he is a psychopath. And that confirms that at the end, when he is addressing a new team of interns, and basically he says to them, I won't make you do anything that I wouldn't do. And that's bullshit, because of course we know that Rick just died because of that, and basically what this shows is that he's just gonna keep doing this, forever, and he's not gonna, stop doing it, because this is what he likes to do. And I really love the ending. I definitely think it's a great ending. It's a great line, definitely. A lot of people have said that a lot of times this movie is very funny. I'd have to agree. That line is a very funny line. He definitely did a very good job with that. And the comedy in the movie, like the comedic moments, it's not like it's very subtle. It's not like you need to think of what the lines are saying. It's not like throws in your face that's funny. The movie's funny in the sense that what he's saying, and I definitely really like about the movie that it's kind of, has some funny moments as well. But that's basically all I want to say about Nightcrawler. Overall, guys, please check out this movie. If you guys have not seen Nightcrawler yet, you guys definitely need to check it out. I highly recommend it. It is definitely a masterpiece. It is one of the best movies I've seen all year. It completely blew Enemy out of the water. At times, this movie is very crazy. I am going to say, if you guys don't like to really think while watching movies, this is not a movie to watch, because you really have to think a lot throughout this movie, definitely, of what's going on with this character and sort of what you think is happening to him. Because, as I said, it doesn't explain to you. It doesn't really have a concrete answer for what's going on. The movie does at the end, but for a lot of time, it doesn't really explain to you what's going on, which I definitely really enjoyed. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Let me know what you guys saw in Nightcrawler. Did you think it kind of blew Enemy out of the water? Would you say Enemy or Nightcrawler? I would definitely say Nightcrawler. It's such a more interesting movie and such a more interesting story. As usual, guys, link to my Letterboxd review will be in the description down below. And I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for tonight's episode of The Missing, which I am going to review it early because I want to do that. I don't want to, the recap I'm using, I don't have a recap to use that's really good, so I'm just going to recap it myself. So I will see you guys for my next video. Okay, bye.